Regrettably, however, we learned through the media that the Speaker unilaterally referred the matter to 3 separate committees without affording this House, as the representatives of the people, the opportunity to express its views. To add to injury, the most disappointing president of all time, because yes, we had hope in you, President Cyril Ramaphosa, has opted to institute yet another commission of inquiry, costly, slow, non-binding process that leads to findings without action and without jail time, a tactic that has become the default response whenever a crisis hits this country. #Zondo Commission. We now note the Joint Committee on Police and Justice has decided to establish an ad hoc committee alongside the work of the secretive Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. This is not what South Africans are calling for. We, however, support this ad hoc committee, but know that given the obvious trust deficit in the current system, countless commissions of inquiries, we will be right here in Parliament holding every single one of those accused accountable, again in the absence of backbone and leadership. We are under no illusion these committees and commissions will not fix the dysfunction within SAPS, nor will they root out the rot of corruption that plagues top leadership and affects our communities. South Africans have had enough. They've had enough of family meetings. They deserve better. They've had enough of commissions that leads to absolutely nothing. They deserve a president that puts accountability and action above bureaucratic delay and political evasion. So kan het nie aangaan nie. I thank you.
Rises in support of the ad hoc committee, and we, like the whole of South Africa, were deeply concerned, not only deeply concerned, but outraged by these shocking revelations made by General Mkhwanazi of corruption going all the way up to ministerial level, including SAPS officials, prosecutors, and even members of the judiciary. Now, we know as public representatives that our communities are ravaged by crime and violence, murders, rapes, and robberies. And while there are many hard-working police officials, prosecutors, and members of the judiciary, there are far too many allegations of samewerking, of cooperation of police with criminal syndicates, and that is at the heart of these allegations. South Africans are demanding justice. They are demanding that these allegations are fully investigated and that those implicated must be placed behind bars. They are demanding questions as to who guards the guards and what are we as Parliament doing. We have an oversight function, and that is why this ad hoc committee is so important, as opposed to an inquiry, a commission of inquiry which will take some time. We support this because it will be a quick fact-finding inquiry, and our recommendations, unlike a commission of inquiry, our recommendations are binding, and we can ensure that they are implemented through our oversight function. So it is also important that whistleblowers are fully protected and that all political parties should be able to be engaged, Madam Speaker, in this process. And we appreciate that the ad hoc committee has limited numbers, but we would urge that all members of Parliament are able to be involved as they are in terms of the rules. The ACDP supports this ad hoc committee, this report, and we will hold the police accountable.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Your time has now expired.
Justice Malala captured the state of SAPS when he said, and I quote, "Our cops cannot be trusted. Too many police are linked to too many gangsters and killers." Malala continued and said, and I quote, he said, "He's afraid of the police as some of them seem to be at the center of some of the most heinous crimes in our country." It took a very senior general, police officer rather, in the name of General Mkhwanazi to confirm these allegations more than 15 years later. And while, for example, we commend General Mkhwanazi for taking this very important and bold step, it is undeniable that these allegations means that SAPS and the entire criminal justice system are currently facing a crisis of confidence. We must give credit where it's due. When the allegations came to light, the Speaker acted swiftly and decisively. She tasked 3 committees of Parliament to look into to consider the matter. Their recommendation, which has brought us here today to establish an ad hoc committee to consider the allegation, reflects our commitment to accountability and the rule of law. We support the establishment of this ad hoc committee and its comprehensive terms of reference that seek to look into the systemic failures which led us to this current quagmire, and we're saying we are going to participate fully in the process And we also support the initiative which was taken by the President of the Republic when he established the Commission of Inquiry to look into exactly the same issues, but focusing on various and different areas. These investigations must continue simultaneously and do so in a very complementary sense so that we're able to uncover all the systemic failures that led us to this quagmire. I thank you very much.
As we rise to support the establishment of the ad hoc committee, it is in favor of this legal principle that as the MK party we hereby salute Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi for taking head-on the perceived untouchables on the 6th of July 2025 by exposing criminal syndicates to which our criminal justice system has been hell-bent uninterrupted for a protracted period of time. By his fearlessness, he extricated many South Africans who are scared to expose shenanigans to which state institutions like the NPA, judiciary, the police department have been subjected for decades by the former liberation movement. Our support for the establishment of the ad hoc committee is not informed by an irrational appetite of supporting things which are not worth supporting, like other parties do more often than not. It is rather consciously informed by an intervention Parliament is legally expected to do under the present circumstances in terms of Section 55 and Section 56 of the South African Constitution. Our support for this is informed by how the doctrine of separation of powers defines the role of Parliament in the context of our constitutional democracy. Our support for this is inspired by the words of Amilcar Cabral when he said, open quote, "Tell no lies, claim no easy victories," close quotes. Hence, our clarion call that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi must appear before the ad hoc committee in Parliament and expose all the police officers, prosecutors, judges, members of Parliament, and all officials in the Department of Police who are in cahoots with criminals. An allegation by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi against judges justifies our valid call for a lifestyle audit against judges. It is our firm belief that judges are human beings. They are not a paragon of morality and therefore are corruptible. Honorable members, if institutions in the justice cluster were free from an undue, unethical influence by criminal syndicates, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa will be wearing red and yellow overalls today in correctional service facilities, serving his sentence for hiding undeclared dollars under mattress in Palapala. Shamila Batoyi, who runs the NPA like she's running a saloon, will now be sitting at home watching the sun rises and sets for her disastrous incompetency. The NPA and police department were long reduced to being entities which do nothing except...
Thank you, Honourable Member. Your time has now expired.
Through stealing
Thank you.
the public purse. We support General Mkhwanazi.
The great Christian had a prophetic revelation when he said, and I quote, "What I fear the most is that the liberators emerge as elitists who drive around in Mercedes-Benz and use the resources of this country to live in palaces and gather riches. We are here today because of insatiable appetite for riches by those who not so long ago were at the forefront of the fight for liberation in this country. Their primary obsession has become leading fleshy lifestyle and not serving the people. They've allowed their revolutionary consciousness, if there was ever any, to be replaced by unbridled greed and gluttony. To this end, they are prepared to violate every little piece of law, to offend all known revolutionary values, and they are prepared to even kill in pursuit of their own self-interest. This weekend, the EFF will be hosting its 12th anniversary rally in Khayelitsha, a place so riddled by crime, where it is not easy to make a distinction between criminals and police, all because SAPS has been so comprehensively captured by gangs that our people have become wary of reporting crime to the police. The allegation leveled by the KZN Provincial Commissioner Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi against the collusion of Mr. Senzo Mchunu, Deputy National Commissioner Sibiya, together with members of the criminal underworld, are clearly demonstrative of the extent to which liberators turned Tsotsi are willing to go to satisfy their greed. Mr. Mkhunu is alleged to have worked through his associate, Brown Mkhotsi, who he denied knowing here in Parliament, to establish solid links with known criminals and murderers. We know that Kat Matala was fingered in the massive corruption at Tembisa Hospital, which corruption led to the death of a whistleblower, Babita Tekoram. We also know that Kat Matala is a murder and attempted murder accused. Despite all this, a minister responsible for policing saw it fit to work with such characters. For as long as he derived benefits as a chairperson, we cannot fight crime if those entrusted with the responsibility of protecting our citizens are themselves criminals. What this shows is that the South African Police Service is a seriously compromised service operating on behalf of and for the benefit of criminals. What this also shows is that the rods start right at the top and that ministers and commissioners themselves enable the capture of SAPs for nefarious reasons. To get to the bottom of this and to reassess the role of Parliament in providing oversight to the executive, we support the recommendation of the report for the establishment of an ADHOC committee to conduct an inquiry to get to the bottom of corruption, infiltration and
Thank you, Honourable Member. Your time has now expired.
Correctional services,
Thank you.
Metropolitan Police Department and other institutions. I thank you.